Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you here today on behalf of the Chau Museum. I'll begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. It's World Turtle Day today, in case you didn't know. It's been held on the 23rd of May each year since 2000 to bring attention to these significant animals. And it's my great privilege to introduce today's talk being presented by Dr. Louise Pryke, who will be speaking about these wonderful creatures. Louise was born in Sydney but grew up in rural central West New South Wales, completing her secondary education by correspondence. She's a graduate from here, the University of Sydney. She has a PhD in ancient history. She has taught courses in ancient languages and literature, both here and at Macquarie University. Louise is a regular contributor to the conversation, and her research interests include ancient Near East narrative literature, ancient myths and epics, as well as animals and cultural ecology. She's the author of 4 books published since 2016, Scorpion, Ashtar, Gilgamesh, and this year she released the book Turtle. So she's here today to share with you more about turtles based on her research from this most recent publication. You can also hear Louise again on Conversations, Richard Fidler's ABC radio program this Tuesday. But right now I'd like to welcome Louise.
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. I'm just going to try and figure out how I can, oh, I'm all good, I think. Like so. Do I need to unmute? Thank you. Okay, so thank you all for coming. It's lovely to be here with you today. So in keeping with our celebration today of World Turtle Day, the theme of this afternoon's talk is the story of turtles and global conservation. We'll see how turtles have been linked since ancient times to the maintenance of universal order and to the origins and survival of life on Earth. This link has continued through history to events such as the world's first piece of environmental legislation. Thank you, I'm famously quiet. And even to Prohibition-era Chicago, where Al Capone's foray into turtle racing brought him into opposition with the Secretary of the Humane Society, a Dr. George A. Scott. Yeah, you gotta want it. Okay. Through tracing the history of humans and turtles and their navigation of Earth's ecology, we find a doughty creature that has persevered over extreme odds to become a popular symbol for the environmental movement in the present day. So for our time together this afternoon, let's all take some time to take a swim in the slow lane of life with the turtle. So, sorry, I'm having trouble going backwards. What is a turtle? The word turtle generally describes all animals with a bony shell and a backbone, which may locally be referred to as turtles, tortoises, or terrapins. The term tortoise generally describes a land-based turtle, and terrapin refers to more aquatic species, but the word turtle can generally describe tortoises and terrapins also. There are over 360 species, Gesundheit, of turtles, up from 356 when I wrote the book. They inhabit every ocean but the Arctic and the Antarctic, and every continent but Antarctica. In form, turtles are unique. They are reptiles, have beaks, and wear an armor-like shell that is as unlikely as it has been influential. The turtle's special ability to inhabit water and land environments gives it a critical role in preserving balance in the Earth's biosphere. For over 100 million years, turtles have played a crucial role in maintaining healthy marine ecosystems through transporting nutrients from oceans to beach systems. Many species of turtle are primarily aquatic animals, but most require air to breathe, and almost all lay their eggs on land, with an important exception being the Australian northern snake-necked turtle. If I were giving this paper in the early 1980s, the scientific consensus would be that all turtles laid their eggs on land. But recent developments show that the Australian northern snake-necked turtle sometimes described somewhat unflatteringly as an aquatic vacuum cleaner for its method of hunting prey, lays its eggs underwater in submerged nesting sites. First Nations Australians had long held traditional knowledge of the egg-laying behaviour of the snake-necked turtle, but it was in the 1980s that this awareness spread to the international scientific community. An Australian biologist, Rod Kennett, you can see there that he really likes turtles, was studying the nesting behaviour of turtles in the Northern Territory. Through consultation with traditional landowners in the area, Kennett developed an understanding of the distinctive egg-laying behaviour of the long-necked turtle. Using radio telemetry, Kennett located nesting sites of underwater turtles by placing transmitters inside pregnant female long-necked turtles. When the turtles' eggs were laid, Kennett traced the location of the nests, finding that they were indeed underwater. The unusual egg-laying habit of this turtle is considered an adaptive response to the natural extremes of the Australian environment. Turtles may not travel quickly, but they can swim for incredibly long distances. The sea turtle's flippers are primarily used for propelling the animal through the water, but recent research has shown that turtles can use their flippers for a variety of tasks, such as rolling a scallop along the sea floor, tossing their prey into the air to stun it, and even striking their prey in a chopping action. The ability of turtles to karate chop their prey made international headlines, likely because of the influence of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The use of flippers for finding food, both in land and water-dwelling turtles, suggests the behaviour may have been present in an ancestral turtle. As well as their surprising dexterity, turtles have remarkable physical endurance, setting records for marathon swimming, deep diving, and longevity. A 2014 study using satellite tracking technology revealed that green turtles can travel for over 4,000 kilometres without stopping for food, the longest distance that's ever been recorded for a marine animal migration, making them the marathon swimmers of the sea. Along with whale sharks, Arctic terns, and grey whales, turtles are renowned for their remarkable migratory capacities. The discovery of the green turtle's capacity for long-haul travel has rewritten the record books for long-distance marine animal migration. In 2008, a GPS tracker accompanied a leatherback turtle on a 649-day journey from Indonesia to Oregon. The turtle covered over 20,500 kilometres before the GPS was dislodged halfway back on the animal's journey. Dives by leatherback turtles have been recorded. Oops, back we go. Have been recorded to exceed 1,000 metres below the ocean surface. In 2006, a free-diving sea turtle off the South American coast was tracked diving to a depth of 1,186 metres. The dive lasted almost an hour and a half, setting a new record for the longest recorded free dive by a leatherback turtle. In 2008, a leatherback was recorded diving to an even greater depth of 1,280 metres. As it seems unlikely that turtles reserve their deepest dives for those brief periods where they are being monitored by members of the scientific community, it's probable that even greater depths have been reached by untracked leatherbacks in the wild. The exact reasons for deep diving in leatherback turtles are not clearly understood in the scientific community. Generally, most leatherback dives last between 10 and 20 minutes and reach depths of no more than 250 metres. To achieve their spectacular aquatic feats, whoops, sorry, I keep doing that. I'll stop. Turtles have numerous biological adaptations. Most vertebrate animals, such as humans, carry their shoulder and pelvic girdles outside of the main body cavity, which is held by the rib cage. Turtles house their shoulder and pelvic girdles within their rib cages. This unique feature of turtle morphology is a significant departure from the standard skeletal plan among vertebrates and is necessary for accommodating the turtle's shell. For an animal with its shoulder girdle inside its rib cage, breathing, much less taking long, deep dives, is an impressive achievement. Of course, the turtle is not the only armored animal around. I did it again. Other armored creatures tend to have a tough protective layer on their back, but a soft belly underneath. Armadillos, whose name comes from the Spanish meaning little armored one, have soft undersides that they can protect from predators by curling into a ball. Only turtles face the challenge of breathing while sealed above and below in a case of armor. Turtles can't expand their ribs to breathe as their ribs are fused to the shell. Basking is a behavior where an animal will position its body in a place where it can be exposed to warmth and sunlight. The causes of basking are diverse, but may include temperature regulation, maintenance and conditioning of the shell and skin, and parasite removal. Both turtles and tortoises bask, although the behavior varies between species. A common activity for crocodiles and alligators, basking was once thought not to be part of sea turtle behavior. In recent years, a greater understanding of sea turtles has generally led to the discovery that many species of sea turtle bask, such as the green turtle, the olive ridley, and the leatherback, either on land or water, or both. Turtles often bask on rocks and logs, sandy beaches, grassy or muddy banks, or discarded lumber or concrete slabs. The utilization of less common basking places is seemingly only limited by an individual turtle's creativity. Some rare basking spots observed by scientists have included turtles basking on top of other turtles, on the backs of birds, and on top of muskrat houses. In 1928, a turtle was observed basking on the head of a water buffalo, which was almost completely submerged. In recent years, the behavior of basking yellow-spotted river turtles in the Amazon has drawn global attention. The basking turtles draw crowds of butterflies who flutter around the animals' faces, drinking their tears. The turtles' watering eyes are not thought to be due to the trying nature of life in the jungle, but a way for them to modulate the high sodium levels in their systems caused by their salt-rich diet. For the butterflies, the turtle tears provide an important source of sodium, which is lacking in their diet of flower nectar. Although greatly beneficial to the butterflies, the phenomenon of drinking turtle tears is largely limited to a small region of Ecuador. Turtles and tortoises are thought to have excellent memories. The mechanisms through which sea turtles are able to navigate long distances back to the beach of their hatching are not as yet well understood, but it's thought that memory plays a role. Juvenile turtles have been shown to be able to remember the correct solution to puzzles for periods of up to 6 weeks. Turtles were long believed to be voiceless animals. Got it? In this aspect, the Greek historian Plutarch believed that they symbolized the cultural ideal of a silent and secluded wife in ancient Greece. Yet, contrary to Plutarch, turtles use a range of vocal communications. The vocalizations of land-dwelling turtles, such as the chirruping Egyptian tortoise, have been the subject of study for many years. Recently, marine turtles have added their voices to the discussion. A 2014 study found that Amazonian river turtles communicate through vocalizations and talk to one another underwater. The parent turtles and hatchlings communicated with one another using sounds, with turtles using different sounds throughout the nesting season. The study marked the first recorded instance of parental care in turtles, proving that turtles are more complex socially than had previously been thought. In recent years, it's come to acceptance that all species of turtles can talk. The Western Australian long-necked turtle has a vocal repertoire including complicated percussive calls, which are harmonically structured and frequency modulated. It's thought that through vocal communication, turtles can coordinate some of their behaviours, such as group basking. Studies on captive turtles in zoological parks have found turtles can participate in playful activities, further demonstrating the understanding of turtle behaviour and cognition remains a work in progress. The turtle, in its slow and unassuming manner, provides a living model of endurance and efficiency. While it may not set records for land speed, The turtle has proven its exceptionality by playing the long game, and in the process setting remarkable benchmarks for distance swimming, deep diving, and longevity. The turtle's ability to thrive in diverse environments is likely provided it with an evolutionary advantage over other now extinct animals from the Cretaceous period. With their protective shells, opportunistic food gathering, and striking anatomical and biological uniformity, turtles and tortoises have managed to persevere for many millions of years, from the Mesozoic to the modern age. So, how old are turtles, and when did they have teeth? In the 21st century, the turtle is no longer easily described as a reptile. The shifting taxonomic focus on adult animals to eggs, through to genes and molecular data, has seen the turtle's classification exploring new ground. Molecular data supports the view of turtles as diapsids, who are a sister group to archosaurs, which are a group containing crocodiles, dinosaurs, and birds. This makes them more closely related genetically to dinosaurs and to birds than they are to, say, snakes or lizards. Diapsids are named for having two holes in each side of their skulls that developed around 300 million years ago. Synapsids, in contrast, are a class of animals with a single opening in the skull behind each eye. While reptile may still be applied as part of a general vernacular, the scientific discussion surrounding a more accurate definition is by no means settled. Generally, it's thought that the prehistory of the turtle involved a terrestrial origin for the animals. Evidence supporting this view includes the turtle's use of land rather than aquatic areas to lay its eggs, and its taxonomic status, along with other reptiles. Yet the matter remains a topic of scholarly debate. The world's oldest known turtle was long believed to be an extinct animal named Proganochelys quenstedi, discovered in 1887 by George Bauer. Although not identical to modern turtles, Proganochelys greatly resembled later members of its family, including having a shell, the more recent turtle's most distinguishing feature. One way to tell the difference between this ancient species and more recent varieties might have been to open its mouth. Unlike modern turtles, Proganochelys had teeth. No currently existing turtles have teeth, although hatchling turtles emerge from their eggs using a caruncle, or an egg tooth, and adult turtles use their hard beaks to bite. Turtle enthusiasts from the Renaissance may have been surprised by the absence of teeth in adult turtles, due to the influence of the Swiss naturalist Conrad Gesner. His publication, Nomenclature Aquatilium Animantium, from 1560, contained an illustrated turtle based on a woodcut, complete with jagged teeth. The proto-turtle, Proganochelys, was thought the world's most primitive turtle for over a century, until the discovery of an even older turtle, Odontochelys semitestacea, in 2008. The fossil turtle's name means toothed turtle in a half shell, reflecting the fact that the extinct creature had a shell covering its belly, but not its back. The reign of Odontochelys as the most ancient turtle known to science was comparatively brief, ending abruptly when it was usurped by Papilochelys roseni, an extinct turtle found in Germany in 2015. The name Papilochelys comes from the Greek, meaning grandfather turtle, in a nod to the extreme antiquity of the creature and the importance of the find. Papilochelys lived in the Middle Triassic period, around 240 million years ago. To put the antiquity of this grandfather turtle into perspective, current dating would place it either just before or occurring alongside the appearance of Earth's first dinosaurs. The world's oldest known dinosaur was discovered in Tanzania in 2012 and is known as Nyasasaurus parringtoni. The animal that had previously been thought to be the oldest known dinosaur was an omnivorous creature named Eoraptor, which would have appeared on the evolutionary scene shortly after Papilochelys. I think that's the end of my Latin terms for a bit, which is good news. The shell of the turtle dominates its image, but there was a time, admittedly a very long time ago, when it seems turtles did not have shells. Modern turtles likely have a distant relative in Eunotosaurus an extinct reptile from the Permian period. The shell has long thought to be a defensive adaptation, but in 2016, a study discovered that proto-turtles likely developed their shells to help with burrowing some 250 million years ago. For the modern-day turtle, shells are a multi-purpose accessory. As well as possessing a distinct usefulness for shielding the creature from predators, shells also provide protection from natural elements. For some tortoises also, the defensive use of the shell is accompanied by an offensive one used for battling rivals. The combination of defensive and more aggressive elements in the turtle's physiology has likely inspired the animal's reception in human culture from the earliest times of civilization. In the modern day, turtles are often considered to be gentle, passive creatures, and the animals are particularly popular with children. These qualities, however, have not always dominated their image. In some of the world's earliest written records, turtles are presented as powerful and dangerous creatures, full of magical potency. While the Mesopotamians were developing the wheel and agriculture, and the Egyptians were building the pyramids, turtles of various shapes and sizes were swimming along the Nile and Euphrates rivers and basking by the water's edge. The influence of these half-shell reptiles can be seen in their appearance in early works of art and literature, and their significant roles in religion in ancient culture. The liminal qualities of the turtle, spanning the divide between water and land, has likely contributed to its prevalence as a supernatural symbol. The turtle's potency is often connected with protection and longevity, but at other times is presented as a treacherous adversary for famous ancient heroes, and even at times for gods. As the home of one of the world's earliest civilizations, Mesopotamia is well suited as a starting point for the study of ancient depictions of turtles. Along with sharing a reputation for antiquity, the name Mesopotamia shows a similar geographical liminality as the turtles themselves. Mesopotamia is a Greek word meaning land between the rivers, and this name reflects the mixed environmental elements favored by many turtles. Recent archaeological research has shown the prominent role of the turtle in the Near East from the Paleolithic to post-Assyrian times. Evidence for turtles as a food source in the region is relatively scarce, with turtles seemingly playing an insignificant dietary role from the Neolithic onwards. The evidence of turtle consumption better reflects magical uses, and they were also exploited for medical purposes. One of the world's oldest known medical texts is a list of prescriptions from Mesopotamia that includes turtle shells. Along with the shells, milk, thyme, and snake skins are listed among a set of ingredients. Turtles played an important role in religion. Their remains have been found at numerous burial sites throughout the Near East. Images of turtles and their physical shells had an apotropaic use. These uses include warding off evil and protecting dwellings and those who lived in them. Votive items of gold and silver in the shape of turtles are listed in sacred dedications. Turtles also feature in omen texts. The literature contains portents describing places and situations where it was inauspicious to see a turtle, and even signs connected to its direction of travel. For example, if a turtle crosses from a river to a marsh, water will carry off that field into the commons. If a turtle crosses from marsh to river, that marsh will dry up. It will turn to arable land. Modern readers of the omen might imagine some anxious moments for Mesopotamian farmers waiting for crossing turtles to orient themselves. In the little-known Sumerian myth of Ninerta and the turtle, a warrior turtle must fight against a legendary hero for the fate of the whole world. This Mesopotamian myth is another of the world's oldest works of literature, dating to early in the 2nd millennium BCE. Ninerta and the turtle provides the first known literary example of the warrior turtle motif, an image that's endured alongside the animal for millennia, and is perhaps known today through the legendary Heroes in a Half Shell, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In the ancient story, the hero Ninerta is sent on a quest by Enki, the Mesopotamian god of wisdom and water. Ninerta is to recover the tablet of destiny from the mythical beast, the Anzud bird, who is also sometimes known as the Thunderbird, who has stolen it. Ninerta is successful in retrieving the tablet from the Anzud bird. The deities tell Ninerta that he can name his reward, but Ninerta feels that the best reward is simply to hang on to the tablet and gain control over the whole world. In response, Enki fashions an attack turtle from clay and creates an ambush. The turtle is set upon Ninerta, which bites at his ankles. The turtle then digs a deep evil pit into which the hero falls. The tablet of destiny is recovered, the world is saved, and the turtle continues its furious attack on Ninerta, tearing at him with its claws. The animal's association with the god of wisdom extends beyond the world of literature. Turtles symbolized Ea, Enki and Sumerian myth, in the art of the Akkadian period between 2350 and 2150 BCE. Ea is at times symbolically represented by turtles on kuduroos, a type of carved stele or boundary stone used by the ancient Mesopotamians for numerous administrative, religious, and political purposes. The warrior turtle image, first seen in Mesopotamia, is a feature of the animal's reception in human culture in diverse historical and geographical settings. In ancient Egypt, the turtle's ability to submerge itself beneath the water saw it given the name the Mysterious One. Turtles were viewed as powerful animals, and its image was at times used for warding off evil. The image of the turtle was a common feature on the wooden and bronze rods used by Egyptian magicians. Often referred to in the modern day as magic wands, these rods were held in the left hand of a priest or a magician as they performed magical rites. Images of powerful animals such as baboons, crocodiles, and lions, and protective symbols such as the Eye of Horus decorated the sides of the magic wand, while the figure of the turtle was attached to the top end of the rod to ward off evil forces. The fearsome qualities of turtles, widely recognized in the ancient Near Eastern myths, may also be found in Greek myth. The Greek hero Theseus encounters a dangerous turtle on his legendary travels. In ancient China, depictions of the Taoist deity Zhenwu, whose name means perfected warrior, involve the warrior shown with a tortoise and a snake. Zhenwu is found, hang on, my pages have stuck together, is found in Chinese culture from the 3rd century BCE. He's connected with the North and considered capable of powerful magic. Of course, the most famous turtle warriors are indeed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Since 1984, Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael, and Michelangelo have formed a 4-strong group of comic book heroes that have dominated the popular image of the turtle in the modern day. As well as being imagined as warriors for millennia, the turtle has long had a reputation for secrecy, as shown in ancient Egyptian myths. The hidden quality of the turtle, tucked up in its shell, creates a mysterious image that's a good fit for the ninja element of the cartoon heroes. Turtle power is a key element of the team's success, but the influence of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has had a broad and perhaps unexpected influence beyond the purchase of comic books and action figures. The popularity of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has had a powerful effect on the science of herpetology, which is the study of turtles and other amphibians and reptiles, and on the conservation movement. A phenomenon that's been observed by many in this field is the positive impact of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in drawing greater interest to the study and conservation of turtles. An example of life-reflecting art, the heroes in a half shell continue to have a significant impact on the fortunes of their reptile-like relatives in the natural world. Images of powerful turtles in human history are not exclusively associated with destruction, warfare, and mayhem. Indeed, perhaps the most common mythical theme associated with turtles is their image of protectors of the earth and the sea. This is clearly seen in the frequent mytheme of the world turtle. The mythical motif of a turtle that carries the world upon its back is found across a variety of cultures and historical settings. The carrying of the world by the turtle is an act of selflessness and altruism. The world is heavy, and carrying it is no easy task. The arduous nature of the job is shown in numerous variations of the myth involving the turtle giving a shrug when tired, leading to earthquakes. The turtle stretching under its burden for a temporary reprieve is a feature of the Mohawk myth involving the world turtle. Numerous myths, including those from many Native American cultures, emphasize the kindness of the turtle and its concern for other creatures in the origins of its cosmic role. This makes an interesting contrast with other known earth carriers, such as Atlas. In Greek myth, the Titan Atlas is given the task of holding up the earth as a divine punishment. Unlike Atlas, the world turtle is generally presented volunteering for the role of earth holder, if the origins of its involvement are included as part of the myth. The burdensome nature of carrying the world leads Atlas to attempt to trick the Greek hero Heracles, Roman Hercules, to trade places with him. Despite the odd tired shrug, the world turtle generally accepts the long-term commitment of its laborious role. The world turtle is also entrusted with carrying the earth due to the animal's reputation for steadiness. The turtle's wide-ranging reputation for antiquity and longevity aligns well with its timeless role. As well as being a world bearer, the sturdiness and endurance of the turtle has seen it symbolize the surface of the earth. A giant turtle swimming in a primordial sea was thought to represent cosmic space in Mayan myths. The high cosmic status of the turtle saw it used in the visual representation of numerous deities. Scenes representing the resurrection of the maize deity of Maya feature in turtle symbolism includes images of turtle shells inhabited by Bacabs, also known as Pahawans. Bacabs are four-aged pre-Hispanic deities associated with the interior of the earth and its waters. Bacabs are also sometimes called sky bearers. The scene of the grain deity's resurrection is considered the most important context of turtle shells in Mayan art. Oops. Turtles appear in various Mayan codices, as well as murals, vases, and other works of art, and even in constellations. In the Mayan cosmic worldview, the turtle is represented by the part of the constellation known as Orion in Western astrology, specifically Orion's belt. There's some evidence supporting the idea that the turtle in Mayan cosmology might be associated with the Western zodiac sign of Gemini due to the Earth's precession over time, which is the wobble of the Earth on its axis. This is a continual motion caused by the gravitational attraction of the moon, and the effect is a kind of slippage of the zodiac signs from their initially recognized locations. Further north, the world turtle plays a central role in Indigenous culture and thought. North America is known among Indigenous communities as Turtle Island. The name stems from a creation myth which survives in numerous versions. Although turtles are viewed in many myths of having helped humans since the time of the origins of the world, it's thought that the animals are yet to finish their job in assisting their human friends. In Native American myths, turtles are said to continue to teach and to help humans about the value of patience and also the importance of avoiding hurry waste. The turtle demands respectful treatment from humans who are in the creature's debt. This respectful attitude can be shown through actions such as helping turtles across the road. Turtles in Native American myths are also connected intimately with time. They are present at the beginning of creation, teach the value of moving slowly, and their lives span great expanses of time. The turtle is also connected to time by its shell. Turtle shells were used as the first calendars by North American Indigenous communities. The 13 scoots on the back of an eastern box turtle were associated with the 13 moons or months that appeared before the return of the same season. The turtle carried the 13 moons on its oval back in a sacred hoop or medicine wheel. This wheel represented the circle of life, the path of the earth around the sun, and could guide humans along their paths through life. The connection between turtles and preserving the earth can be seen in the genesis and development of the environmental movement. Conservation is often thought of as a modern trend, but its history stretches back hundreds of years. At many points in the past, concerned and far-seeing individuals and groups have taken steps to preserve the natural wonder that is the turtle, everywhere from legislators in 17th century Bermuda to members of the Illinois Humane Society in Prohibition-era Chicago. Concern for the preservation of the turtles lies at the heart of some of the earliest pieces of conservation legislation, giving added weight to the half-shelled reptiles in their modern incarnation as eco-warriors. Turtles are the ocean's ancient mariners, exploring great depths, fishing for food, and tending to fields of seagrass like flippered gardeners of the sea. These ancient creatures have contributed immensely to human sea exploration, leaving their mark on human history. In the early days of sea exploration to the New World, turtles were abundant, and numerous ships' logs note the frequent stoppage on islands mid-voyage to take on turtles. Despite explorers' observations of vast numbers of turtles, the exploitation of the animals caused a free fall in their population. In 1620, turtle numbers in Bermuda had fallen so rapidly that an act was passed on the island to limit their slaughter. This Bermudian Act is the world's earliest marine turtle conservation legislation and a landmark event in the genesis of the conservation movement. Bermuda's efforts to protect its turtle population were followed in 1711 by a law passed in Jamaica protecting turtle eggs. In 1907, 2 more laws were passed protecting sea turtles as well as their eggs. Further legislations aimed at protecting turtles and other animals were provided by Jamaica's Wildlife Protection Act of 1945. As well as being the birthplace of conservation legislation protecting turtles, the Caribbean is also considered home to the sport of turtle racing. Unlike the familiar metaphor of the tortoise and the hare, in the sport of turtle racing, the field is entirely made up of turtles. The animal athletes are generally placed in the center of a circle on level ground, and once the race is started, they compete to see who can reach the outside of the turtle first. Turtle racing has a long and colorful history with close ties to gambling. From its roots in the Caribbean, it spread to the United States, and there we see a further example of the human concern for turtle rights, even in the face of significant danger. Turtle racing has not always been popular with the law and has long been connected with organized crime. In 1930, Al Capone decided to expand his gambling empire to include turtle racing. The notorious gangster had been released from prison in March of that year and was considered to be the #1 public enemy on the list of the Chicago Crime Commission. This followed an attack on George Moran's rival gang at a North Side garage on the 14th of February 1929, which led to the deaths of 7 men and was widely known as the Valentine's Day Massacre. It always makes me think of Some Like It Hot. I don't know about you guys. Capone is widely credited with bringing greyhound racing to Chicago, and like fellow gangsters Lucky Luciano and Bugsy Siegel, he was heavily invested in racing dogs around Illinois and Florida. Having amassed great profits from his dog racing enterprises, Capone was enthusiastic about the idea of bringing the sport of turtle racing to Chicago. The relatively small size of the reptilian races was particularly appealing to the gangster. Chicago, in 1930, was still under the laws of the Prohibition era, meaning that the sale of alcohol was illegal in the city. Capone's plan was to build tiny racetracks in the thousands of speakeasies he ran throughout the state of Illinois, where his liquor was sold and money could be made from betting on the turtle races. Capone dispatched an aide to Ponca City in Oklahoma, where he bought 5,000 mud turtles for the new business. A newspaper report in the Baltimore Sun of the 7th of November 1930 commented that Capone didn't adequately research his new venture, which led to its failure. According to the newspaper report, turtle racing at the time involved setting up each turtle on a miniature racetrack where the animal could not turn around. The secret to the race was that the starting point beneath the turtles was made uncomfortably hot, forcing the turtles along the track in a search of a cooler place to rest. Capone's aide overlooked the need for separate, neatly divided runways for the competitors, instead setting up a single hotspot for all the turtles. When the grand race test was conducted, the design of the course was found to make racing impossible. The turtles headed in all directions, dodging the heat and getting tangled up in each other. Capone was furious at the failure of his turtle racing business, having found himself with a herd of 5,000 turtles and nowhere for them to run. In a hurry to return to Florida, the gangster decided to cut his losses and ordered his henchmen to dump the racing turtles at any place they could find. On the 2nd of November, 1930, 2,000 of the mud turtles were discovered wandering down South Michigan Avenue. The remaining 3,000 animals were found later in the same week, meandering around a vacant lot in the suburb of Cicero, an area synonymous with Capone. With their sporting careers reaching an untimely end, the orphans were gathered up by the Illinois Humane Society. The newspaper's account of the incident ends on a rather alarming note, reporting that the secretary of the Humane Society, a Dr. George A. Scott, had publicly declared his intention to raise the issue of the turtles' mistreatment with Capone when he returned to Chicago. I did a little search to see if I could find anything, and I never found any reference to him afterwards. I'm assuming all went well. Capone's abandoned turtles were turned over by the society to Dr. Carl Patterson Schmidt, a noted herpetologist and the curator of the Field Museum. The failure of Capone's attempt to bring turtle racing to Chicago in 1930 may have prevented the sport from becoming stigmatized by the connection to organized crime, as was the case of the sport of dog racing in the 50s, 60s. Moving to the current day. In more recent times, a combination of human-led factors have created a conservational crisis for the turtle, resulting in all 7 species of sea turtle now being endangered or threatened. Of the 360 known species, approximately 61% are either currently threatened or already extinct. This precarious decline in turtle biodiversity is a result of many factors, notably habitat destruction, unsustainable exploitation, and climate change. It's clear then that the increasingly significant global issue of conservation is very much an area of interest for the turtle. Once a dietary staple, the demand for turtle meat has declined in many areas, but the trend is not a universal one. In the present day, turtles continue to be overexploited and harvested for the food and pet industries, despite numerous legal prohibitions at the national and international levels. A 2014 report by the Indian Ocean Sea Turtle Agreement showed that turtles were being illegally traded worldwide for food and medicines, as exotic pets, and for the production of traditional crafts from their shells. The illegal trading of wildlife is a multi-billion-dollar industry, often run by criminal syndicates operating in remote regions and exploiting local people. The growth of the illegal wildlife trade in the past 10 years has been significant. This increase has been fueled by an upsurge in affluence in regions where animals are sought for their use in traditional medicines, food, or for many species, their appeal as novelty pets. At the same time, penalties for the illegal wildlife trade of animals are frequently lighter from those of trafficking in comparably sized markets, such as drugs, arms, and humans, which further fuels the growth of the illicit industry. Reptiles comprise an estimated 21% of the value of that live animal trade, with turtles being counted as one of the more popular types of trafficked reptile. The enormous amounts of money at stake and the involvement of major criminal networks make attempts to stop wildlife trading inherently dangerous. Trafficking in turtle eggs is seen as a lucrative sideline for drug cartels. The risks involved in protecting turtles from wildlife trafficking were recently highlighted by the tragic death of Jairo Moira Sandoval. A Costa Rican environmentalist, Moira Sandoval was kidnapped and murdered by a group of men poaching turtle eggs in 2013. Tensions around turtle poaching in the area had been escalating for some time. In 2012, men armed with AK-47 weapons raided a hatchery for baby turtles. And in the weeks prior to Maurice Sandoval's death, he had reached out to friends on social media to try and mobilize local authorities to stop egg thieves preying on nesting sea turtles. Maurice Sandoval's death created an international outcry, including a formal statement from the United Nations. The young conservationist's murder highlights the pressing need for international authorities to recognise and respond to the dangers posed by the illegal wildlife trade. Maurice Sandoval's story also demonstrates the remarkable courage and dedication displayed by many working in the field of conservation. In conclusion, turtles are among the most threatened group of animals in the world. A landmark 2018 study showed that turtles were more threatened than birds, fish, mammals, and even the much besieged amphibians. Turtles are connected with home in human thought, particularly through the biological myth of the turtle that carries its home on its back. The relationship between turtle and shell is mirrored in the relationship between all living things and the natural environment. Like the turtle, none of the world's living inhabitants can leave the protective shell of the Earth's biosphere, human, turtle, and other animal astronauts accepted. The increasing awareness of the need to protect turtles and their environment gives some cause for optimism. Increased scientific monitoring and new technologies mean the near future will yield exciting new knowledge about turtles. New species of turtle are still being found, and an example of this trend can be seen in the discovery in 2018 of a new species of mud turtle in western Mexico. In the famous story of the tortoise and the hare, a steady tortoise is able to beat an overconfident hare in a test of speed. Despite the different physical abilities of the two creatures, it is the attitude of the two contestants rather than their athleticism which decides the race. Studying the image of the turtle throughout human history allows us to pause and appreciate the graceful qualities of the creature's physiology and its remarkable evolutionary persistence. A notably slow animal, showing little aggression, the turtle has a complicated life cycle that involves conquering significant obstacles. With the odds of survival seemingly stacked against it, there is something magical and even hopeful about the endurance of the turtle. Thank you very much.